many of you, when you're listening to this, you might be in a spot right now that like, I have a full-time job and maybe like you feel like it's a secure job as well, but it really is not, right? Because like, especially with COVID-2, we kind of saw that like, you can be let go so easily. So when I moved to United States, I took a job in a corporation as well. So like, and again, it was supposed to be like a dream job at first. I was so grateful and everything, but I was making like, I don't know, 55,000 a year. So like very like an average, but I was so grateful. But literally my days were looking like 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock. And I realized as well that like not even a single day I was able to drop off my son to school. So like in a preschool. And I missed out of that time. And I started thinking about like, I really have to turn my blogging and my online courses into full-time business, so that can support my lifestyle and beyond that as well. And it took me about a year to get out of the corporate world to really like, because my plan was that I need to cross 6 figures because I didn't want to let go again my salary-based job, right? And none of us, we should never like jump into this like without having something secure. So my goal was to have all the systems in place, like my programs running, clients coming in, that I see the sustainability, that if I can see that like I can repeat this process, new clients are coming in, I can generate this revenue. And when I'm hitting the point that I can't do it both anymore, so that's the time to leave. So, and I do think that it's pretty critical to kind of make a decision that like, do I want to quit my job or not? And if you're in a spot right now that you're thinking about quitting, make a decision about the date, because every time you're thinking like, oh yes, one day I will quit, it's never going to happen. But once you decide about the date, even if you don't like quit on that particular time, but at least you can see that like, things start coming together as well. So for me, like, I definitely saw that like I have to replace my income, at least what I was making on that moment and beyond. And I also wanted to be in a place where everything was already flowing. So if you brand new business, you got to start building your programs, your website, like your email list, social media presence, and it's going to take some time. But it's nice if you have like your salary coming in too, because at least you pay your rent, you pay your bills, you take care of your family, while you also have money to invest in your business too. Because I found like that was so critical. Like back in the day, I also hired my first virtual assistant, and it was nice because I had my salary that I could use and to pay somebody else as well to get some work done too. So I think that was like pretty critical to just kind of scale up this business. So as a business coach, I always talk about recurring revenue. And that's something that sometimes, we have heard about the coaching, that there's this feast and famine cycles all the time, right? But in order for you to have like stability in your business and really like this recurring revenue that comes in, you have to offer payment plans for your clients as well. And I can't really stress this enough because that made such a huge difference for me. So for example, I'm not saying that don't have people like, who pay you in full, like 100%, we want those people too. But on the same time, if you have like payment plans, and I'm talking about even like extended payment plans. So as an example, so if my mastermind is 5 months, people can pay me 12 months too. So what that really means, it's a win-win circumstances, because first of all, the people who will pay me in full, they will save a little bit more money. But on the same time, I want to support also those women who are maybe not in that position to pay everything up front, because there are some other costs involved with business too, but you still want to get the business going. So what happens is, during this time, like they can start building their business, they will get this education and the training and all those things that they need. They will start working with their paying clients, and they have the money to also pay. Well, also for me, it's like I can see that here's my list of all those clients who are on a payment plan. So I can actually predict how much revenue I'm already generating, like, from my business, like next month, 6 months and 8 months and 10 months from now too. And if you have like many clients like that, you're actually spreading the risk as well. So because like even if somebody falls behind, right, so there are other people, like, I mean, it would be really rare that everybody on the same moment would fall behind, right? And quite often what happens is they achieve success and they're like, you know what, I would love to pay off my balance now. So But if you if you have an evergreen business, for example, and if you're consistently enrolling new clients, or even if you have like one-on-one offers, offer payment plans, because then you can enroll more clients while also building up the system that you can predict your revenue in your business. You don't have to then chase like, oh, I need new clients, I need new clients, I need new clients, because you can totally even live out of like your existing clientele like that too. Like for me, so like I see really women like, who either are just getting started in a business, or maybe they have got the coaching certification like 5 years ago, and it's just kind of like collecting the dust, and now it's like, okay, it's time for me to do something with that. And then I also have had women who are, let's say, HR professionals. They love their job, they're amazing in that, but they want to have something for their soul on a side. And then women who have brick and mortar business and they just want to build something online space too. It's really the same, because all of those women are building up their personal brands, and that's really you. So as long as you step into your confidence, right, you can be authentically yourself. And I always say that we can never say like, when exactly somebody's going to achieve certain result, but the most important thing is if you learn the skills, you will never going to be hungry again, right? So it's not about just catching the fish, but it's if we show up to our clients like best ourselves, right? So it's going to be a win-win situation for all of us. Man, I've struggled with that so much. And I think there's so many different pillars, right? So first of all, my language, definitely when I started building my business was, do people understand me? What if I say something wrong? And there's always those trolls online too, right? Who's like sometimes send me a message like, oh, you made a mistake over there. So, but thank you for noticing, right? So I have like, other things to focus on. So we have to kind of like be in peace with ourselves in a way that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay not to be liked, and it's okay to care about those things too, but it's important not to be obsessed over that, right? So that like we don't have to be obsessed about like, how many people like us or how many followers or likes we get or something. That doesn't matter. So, but it's really like, it's bigger than ourselves, like, because like our job is not about us, it's about our clients and the difference we are really making. So to answer your question as well, so my confidence journey, so it's really building a muscle. You just have to be like a really disciplined about yourself. And I think sometimes that's when those masterminds and coaches come in as well, because if you have somebody who is holding you accountable, who provides you feedback, who gives you the tips how you can improve yourself, that's gonna make things better too. So as an example, really with my English as well, so it has been just practice, and I have made peace with myself, and it is what it is, right? So, and this is who I am, and I can't change that. Now there are other things that I can change. I can improve my skills. So as an example, how I have improved my video skills, it's been a journey to build up this muscle. So I started out when we had teleprompters, we didn't have Facebook Live, we didn't have anything like that would go live directly. So you really had to take like a whole day and just to practice things. But that's what we did. I wrote my script, I practiced that, and then I recorded it. And once, let's say, Facebook Live came, for example, I was terrified. I was so terrified of that kind of thing, that I'm going to make a mistake and I'm going to make like fool about myself. But I used certain tricks to kind of like to get more comfortable. For example, when I was recording on my phone, my videos, I had the laptop behind my phone where I had my script. So I started out like reading like that. So, and that has kind of been like, you build up those blocks on top of each other. So today I can just show up and just press the button and just do it. But back in the day, it took some time, some practice, like with anything, but it's doable. So that's how you really build up your confidence too. You just have to take the messy action and just trust that there's somebody who needs to. I think kind of depends where you're at as well. So you definitely have to be really clear about like your audience and the problem you're solving. So we have obviously heard about like, that clarity and picking a niche is so important, and it is. But I also want to say that like, don't be afraid to pivot. If you feel like if you're taking action and that's not really what you thought it was, you can pivot. You are the boss, you are the CEO of your company. So make those changes accordingly too. And I like to focus on the problem rather than like who exactly is my ideal client, like as a person or like that. So, and when I say the problem is like where are they struggling right now and where do they want to go? And so basically your program should be like the bridge to this, from the struggle point to the outcome to the vision that they want to achieve. So being really clear about like the outcome that you provide is very, very important to kind of like, to be yourself, but also to attract the right audience to you. I think kind of depends where you're at as well. So you definitely have to be really clear about like your audience and the problem you're solving. So we have obviously heard about like, that clarity and picking a niche is so important, and it is. But I also want to say that, like, don't be afraid to pivot. If you feel like if you're taking action and that's not really what you thought it was, you can pivot. You are the boss, you are the CEO of your company. So make those changes accordingly too. And I like to focus on the problem rather than like who exactly is my ideal client, like as a person or like that. So, and when I say the problem is like where are they? Yeah, so I think for me, it's really like stepping into my own power, like, just embracing who I am as a woman, as a coach, as a mom, as a sister, and as just a human being as well. And really like embracing this part of me. So like whatever, like we like none of us is perfect. So just embracing who I am. And I also believe that our gifts are our blessings that are meant to be shared with others. So confidence for me is also sharing my gifts with others.